Ready to start the February 24th Commissioners meeting. First, we've got Pastor Jennifer Weaver with United Methodist Church. Good morning.
Good morning.
Let us enter into an attitude of prayer. God of grace and God of glory, we ask that you might shower us with blessings, and we thank you for all that we have already received from your hands, and we wait expectantly for what is still to come. We lift up the needs of those living among us. We look forward to the day when each person has all of their needs met, when they each have a roof over their head, a place to safely lay their head at night, a full belly, gainful employment, and accessible health care. But until that day comes, may there be moments that give them and us glimpses of a better tomorrow. We thank you for these persons who give of their time to guide Daviess County. Bless them. May your Spirit guide them as they seek to act with integrity, vision, and fairness. Grant them wisdom to make decisions that are beneficial for the majority without harming the minority. Grant them courage to use their voice for good, even when it is not popular. Grant them clarity, compassion, and a spirit of cooperation so that they might work together for the common good. O Lord, may your will be done as they seek to serve humbly, following the example of Jesus Christ, in whose name we pray. Amen.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we got the February 10th meeting minutes. Did you guys look over them? Any changes?
Yeah, no changes I saw.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Gabhart. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Commissioner Cook. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next, we got Chris, the Highway Department. Good morning, Chris. This morning, we did have a Highway Department meeting at 7:30. Talked about, Chris updated us on the permitting, how things were going out there, some insurance items, and then also talking about having the Amish Commissioner meeting. We talked about April 14th. Going to make sure that was going to work, and the place
Okay.
kind of still
Off-site meeting,
off-site meeting, yes.
April 14.
Yeah.
6 PM.
And while we're here on that, there's a little bit mix-up on what time the highway meeting. Is it down for 7:30 or 7:45? Do we know, girls, do you guys have it down for 7:30 or 7:45, the highway meeting?
I think it's 7:30, but I think it's 7:30.
7:30. Nathan, are you good with 7:30, or would you rather move to sit? Does
it's-
that press you a little bit?
No, 7:30 is fine. In my head, I thought we made it 7:45,
Well,
and I thought that was in the minutes. I just want to make sure that we changed it to 7:30.
Does that probably takes a motion? Does it?
If it's already in there, it doesn't. No.
I think
Oh,
it's,
if it's already 7:30. It is 7:30? Okay, double check it.
So
think
let's do this just to be safe. Let's entertain a motion to change it to 7:30, just in case. That way
Okay.
we don't have to worry about the
Motion to change the highway meetings to 7:30.
I'll second that motion.
You'll make the motion, I'll
Yeah,
second.
fair enough.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Gabhart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. 7:30.
Perfect. Now,
Motion passes 3-0.
thanks, guys. Sorry about that.
and then
We'll give you a little more time, Chris.
Okay, yeah, let me calm down. That just makes me,
Chris can be a little talkative at times, but that way we'll give him an extra 15 minutes.
I guess some of the projects or whatever, I was asked about the REO, runaround road. I checked on it Friday and it wasn't completed yet. I know they were tasked with getting the runaround road done at the end of the year, and they had told us that they weren't gonna have that done by the end of the year. It was gonna be 2 to 3 weeks into the new year before they actually had it done. They did have probably 90 to 95% of it done, but they didn't connect it back to the county road because they didn't want people using it, as they had number 2s on it and number 5 stone. So it wouldn't be, you wouldn't want to use it anyways. They were having a little bit of trouble getting a stone. I don't know, why. They just told me they was having trouble getting a stone. And then the snow hit, so I'm sure that that's put them behind.
Sure.
I can reach out to them this week and see where they're at or what their plans are, but the runaround road is not completed
So-
yet.
And that was supposed to be done by the end of the year.
It was supposed to be done by the end of the year according
2
to
to
the
3 weeks
agreement,
into the new year.
but we held off releasing their bonds to them until it was completed, because they were wanting to release a bond on a different road, and we had decided that they needed to have the runaround road completed before we released the bonds. And then during that conversations, they did acknowledge, they knew they weren't gonna meet the
Yeah.
first year timeline, but
Could we do this? I mean, just having been involved with this since December 2022 and just seeing the variety of stories that I've heard and witnessed firsthand, could we kindly ask them that road needs to be open by March 10th of 26? And for them to maybe come to our meeting and to explain to us why it's not going to be? Because there's so much I guess I'll stop there. Could we do that?
yeah.
Commissioners, are you?
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I'll reach out to them today. I didn't look at it Monday, but I looked at it Friday to confirm, and it wasn't
Okay.
done.
Is that the first meeting in March?
Thank you.
Is that the first meeting in March, I
That's
guess?
March 10th. Yeah, that's that's the next meeting. Yeah.
Another thing kind of not on the agenda there, but the ADA Title VI stuff, I think I kind of assumed that responsibility. But of course, of what I need to do, I need to set up a meeting with the other facility managers, like the facility manager of the annex, the courthouse, and the sheriff's department. If that's agreeance with you guys, I need to be able to reach out to them guys and have a coordinating meeting about some of the stuff that's not,
I agree. That way, if they got an issue or, they know who to go to, and I agree. Yeah, have a meeting with them so get
And it kinda
everybody on the same page.
kind of stemmed from I didn't get a report, but I'd heard of some different, I would call them, I say here if I don't get myself in trouble, but some Title VI issues. So people do need to know to submit them if there is a violation. So I need to talk to the facility managers for the ADA and maybe reiterate that to some of the department heads if there is some Title VI stuff. I know the auditor's office has a HR person to handle them complaints as well, but on the Title VI, that I got some stuff I've got to do to it too. So I'll just reach out to them and try to have a meeting with the different facility managers to start with. The couple things on some grants, Bridge 95 and the guardrails on the causeways. We did apply for grants on them last year and didn't get them. We applied again in 25 and we received all three of them. There were 3 different projects because the guardrails was divided up into 2 projects. So I think totaling the initial award, the amount that we got was, just rounding numbers, $3.7 million. That's not the total of what we are going to get from these. The bridge is 80% federal and 20% local, and it's like a $2.7 million project. And I could tell you all the exact numbers if you need to know exact numbers. And the guardrails is a safety grant, so it's 90% federal and 10% local. And they award the first part of it, which again was like $3.7 million. We'll get more on that when we get under contract with the consulting firm for the preliminary engineering. They didn't award that yet. And I've got like 15 days to have a preliminary meeting with NDOT to go over some of the stuff, which I've got that set up now. And then I've got till August 1st to be under contract with the consultant to secure these funds. And if you're not under contract with the consultant and you don't do this and that, then lose the funds. So some of these things don't always line up with our meetings and our agendas without having a special meeting and having it advertised to get signatures and stuff. So I'll keep you guys informed of what's going on and where we're at. And if it don't line up exactly with our meeting, then Casey did the DocuSign last time. So we might reach out to her to have you guys do some DocuSign stuff. These are all grants that we've agreed to, and you guys made motions to pursue them and stuff. It's just getting them under contract. That being said, I had said the RFPs that were out, which is requests for proposals from the different companies that are interested in doing the work on our projects that we are awarded. They will send us LOIs, which is letters of interest. And I think the countywide bridge inspection was the first one I talked about last week. That's out. That will be due March 13th. The LOIs will be in. Our scoring committee will score that. Mr. Keith will be part of our scoring committee as the president of the commissioners, and the other guys will be made up out of the highway department. And then the newly RFPs I just sent to NDOT yesterday, so they will post, they do the advertising for the LOIs. We don't advertise here. NDOT does that. They should be due March 31st, and then that will be for the Bridge 95, east of Ragglesville, and then the guardrails. And then we'll score that. And then from there, we've got to get under contract with the consultant. So you guys had asked a little bit about some of the funding. I was in the middle of putting together a presentation. I kind of like the state of the county presentation. I didn't get it quite done, but just some rough figures in my head was so far since the CCMG has been, I guess, in place in 2016. NDOT started doing that program. Davis County has received a little over $10 million at a 20% match. So we paid $2 million and received $8 million in grant funding. In the other funding, I'd kind of put in there, it looks like with federal aid and safety, and it was about $12 million that Davis County has received from the federal government from us applying for them grants. And that some of them were 10% matches and some were 20% matches. I didn't figure out the math on it. It's too good to figure it out. And then the Candleburg Road, which, you know, maybe we're going to talk about another Candleburg Road project on the Montgomery Road or something with our April 14th meeting. But that project was a $43 million project that we got, and Davis County was responsible for $8 million of that. So the funding is out there. The grants just need to be applied for and written. That's some of the stuff that the highway department's been doing with support of the commissioner and the council and doing the matching portion of it. That's some of the stuff I've been working on. So I'll put that all together and give it to you guys. And I talked to Nathan about it a while back, and he thought I'd need to present that to the council too, so they could see where all this funding's going, I guess. And the last thing on there is the BWise consulting contract for environmental services, the assistant with that, and that is a 7,200 whatever it is, and that is not to exceed. So they only do the portions that we tell them to through the contract. So it's not that we pay them that 7,000. It's just per task. We've been using this consulting firm for the last couple of years, and they've done a really good job for us. It's a lot of IDM and stuff like that kind of work. So I think I sent the contract in, Grant's, I looked it over. If you guys would agree to it, I mean, I would recommend her if Grant's not seen any problems with it. Or I said recommend her, it's a girl that does it, but I'd recommend her, but if you guys would agree to it, I would sign it and continue services with her for the year.
Everything looked good.
No issues.
Okay. I entertain a motion to approve the contract with BWise Consulting with Highway Department.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Cook,
Second.
second by Commissioner Gabhart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
I think that's all I've got.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks a lot, Chris.
Chris?
And next up, we've got the CPC contract with Gary. I didn't see Gary, but. Oh, they're at conference. Okay. All right. We'll just.
Yeah, I didn't see any concerns with it.
No, I didn't either.
I'd actually make a motion to approve that contract.
I'll second.
A motion by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Gabhart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Yep, I don't think Brian's here, is he?
No, number 4.
Okay.
Dave.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Next, we got Davis County Limited Use Agreement with Faith Dalton. I believe she's a legal, or she is a local student, and I think she's at the University of Ohio, Miami, something like that. And I think this is, I talked to Jen about it, and we've done this before, where we give her permission to use some of our GIS layers on an assignment there. So I didn't see any problems with it. I'll entertain a motion to approve that.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Gabhart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next, we got a MOU with Deaconess Audrey Brown.
We've got Brian Neoff update.
Is Brian here?
Yeah, he's right there.
Oh, I didn't see you sneak in.
I did sneak in.
You did sneak in.
Fine.
Yes, absolutely. We got an update with Brian. Yes. No, you're good.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
How are we doing? Good. Good. Well, hey, thank you for the opportunity to check in with you all today. What we are doing is this is just the 6-month check-in update on the real estate with you, with the redevelopment commission, and with the Economic Development Foundation. So just wanted to take this time, one, just to reiterate what we're doing up there, the whole purpose behind the real estate agreement. 2, give a few updates on how it's working in practice. And then 3, obviously, have an opportunity for you all to ask any questions, provide any feedback, et cetera. So just very quickly on the real estate agreement, it was approved back in August of 2025. And at that time, I believe the discussion was, hey, let's set a date here in about 6 months for you all to come back, provide an update, see how things are going, and just make sure we have an opportunity to make tweaks if necessary. So that is what we are doing today. So real quick on the real estate agreement, what this is, and this really goes back to the master plan for the Westgate Crane Technology Park. So we all know Westgate Crane, there are amazing things happening up there. It is a great example of regionalism between Davies, Martin, and Greene counties really coming together. But with that, with having 3 jurisdictions, the Westgate Authority, 3 redevelopment commissions, the list goes on, it requires that extra level of coordination to make sure everything's kind of moving along in the same direction. So this real estate agreement really, in a sense, replaced the fragmented marketing of land approach that we had in place before, with multiple landowners, different parties, kind of the right hand, maybe not intentionally, right? Speaking to the left, that kind of thing, right? So, and the key point here with the real estate agreement is that ownership stays with the county. Ownership stays with the county until we have an opportunity, USTF, because we're working up there day in and day out as that operational entity for Westgate Crane, to work with our development partners to pull together a strong, bona fide development plan that is actionable and ready to go by the time it comes to the Board of Commissioners. So where we've been since approval, one, it's been a lot of getting a unified message for the technology park and for the land that the counties own up there. It's coordinating our infrastructure efforts. If you've been up recently, you've seen there's not only a lot of construction related to the facilities like Kratos's IPIF, or the Indiana Payload Integration Facility, the Amentum RCE facility, CACI's new building that they're putting together up there. But there's also a lot of infrastructure work. So we are building a couple new lift stations for sanitary sewer in the park, a couple new main extensions to service both the RCE site and the Kratos site. And with that, that's going to open new development opportunities on Davies County land along the way. So it's working with our one, construction contractor, Reed & Sons, and two, the development prospects that we're in constant communication with to target those areas, right? We're investing heavily in infrastructure to make those sites ready for development. That's where we need to start, right? So that's where a lot of some of the early pre-development and readiness work has been. And you know, in addition to that, we've also been trying to, and this is not, this is something I can always improve upon, but have those clear lines of communication. We provide a monthly report to the Westgate Crane Authority. I try to, for the most part, send that out to you guys. I know sometimes every few months or so I do miss that, and I need to get in a better habit of getting that over to you. But that's in an effort to, one, make sure everyone's on the same page between the Westgate Authority and the three counties. So that's certainly an effort of ours. So you know how the real estate agreement is performing in practice. One, you know, the benefit the feedback we have received is that it is reassuring to have that single voice, right? Oftentimes before, again, unintentionally, but you would have multiple groups that maybe wouldn't have all the information, and they would be kind of, they would be approached by a development prospect and then kind of be backed into a decision when they don't have, you know, for example, where the infrastructure is going in up at Westgate and in the park. So, you know, that's some positive feedback we've received. I would say we are also in the phase of, we have a lot of development prospects in the pipeline in terms of building that pipeline. About 60% of those folks are in this, I would say, feasibility stage, in the ideation phase of where they've approached us, they've expressed interest, they've shared a high-level project concept, and the feedback from us has been, hey, that's great, we'd love to support you, this seems like a good fit for Westgate and Davies County, but this next step is the development plans. We need a site plan, we need a better, more detailed description of the project, some construction timelines, et cetera. So we have a lot of folks kind of working in that space right now, which is good, because it also helps us to hold all parties accountable, right? As opposed to just, hey, we're gonna approach Westgate, we're gonna tie down some land, we're gonna take a breath, and then a few years later, we're gonna come in with our development plan. Well, that doesn't benefit us, it doesn't benefit you, the county, because we wanna make sure we're getting this in front of as many folks as possible. So when you're ready to do a project, let's talk. Before then, get your project ready, right? So that's a little bit on kind of the leads and pipeline. So, you know, what to expect next. So just continued marketing and site conversations with those prospects. I'd love to get some, and we're working on this as we speak, getting some new signage up in the park, just highlighting those properties for development. That's not typically how folks find us, right? They typically find us through a conversation with NSWC Crane, with having that relationship with, oftentimes before they even get to Westgate, but it's nice to have that as a visual reinforcement for when folks are in the park. But then even some continued digital marketing. We're working on some video work to highlight those sites, particularly those sites that I mentioned earlier. We're investing heavily in infrastructure, water, wastewater, et cetera. So you know, and as these projects continue to mature, those that I mentioned earlier that are more in that ideation phase, you all will start to see those specific development plans coming through at the time that we get those and they're ready to go. And again, what that does is it just starts to establish a framework around how these projects are developed and gives us a framework into how we ultimately put together a purchase agreement with these properties and hold them accountable to the milestones that they put in place for construction. So with that, happy to answer any questions that you all may have, respond to any feedback, et cetera.
Nathan, you got any questions?
Yeah, appreciate that. So regarding the jobs, when do we anticipate the jobs to start coming, and what year, and about how many jobs do you know?
Yeah. So Kratos is hiring now as we speak.
And
Just-
now you can just start 10,000 feet, just
Yep.
how many jobs, what year?
So for their first facility that's set to open in June, a little bit later to be operational. So I want to say September is the latest that I've heard to be operational. They plan to have 100 employees there. Their next facility called the IRIC
So that's 100 total.
total.
So in 2026, do you have a ballpark how many employees we'll have up there?
I don't yet. I haven't heard that from Kratos as to where they plan to be. I mean, I would imagine they won't be at that 100 employees, by the end of 2026.
Well, the only thing I would suggest, just
Sure.
for your benefit,
Sure,
is
sure.
that there's so many moving parts, so many acronyms, so many all this. It gets bungled in our
Oh, yeah.
heads. So I don't want to speak on behalf of my colleagues, and this is my last year, but I'd want to know in 2026 how many jobs, 27 how many jobs, 28 how many jobs. Just range, and then that way then you can come back in 27 and say, okay, in 26 we thought it's going to be 50, we hired 75. Now, who they work for is relative, but not necessarily
Correct.
important. So,
Absolutely.
because it's really complex up there.
Sure.
Which is wonderful. But at the end of the day, it's the jobs, the property taxes, that'll all go to the TIF district,
Yeah.
which is still in place. There won't be any property tax impact. But then to lead the RDC with that TIF plan, because now your TIF is going to be increasing, and how do you want to spend that TIF money? So anyway, great stuff going on up there, and a lot of moving parts.
I'll piggyback.
Yeah.
But on that, the other thing is how many prospects,
Yes.
where are they at in the
Yes.
stage, who they are. I would like to be in on that, just to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, we can have lots of prospects, but we got to close at some point.
Yeah.
And, or it's not really making sense with this. Yeah, so I would add that in. I would say twice a year at this moment, or do you want quarterly?
Probably at this point, probably twice a year.
Twice a year, so when you come in,
Sure.
like you're doing right now.
Yeah.
And so I would love to have those two questions answered, like in an email or whatever, which is how many jobs, what's the projected dates, years for those, and then how many prospects, who they are, where they're at in that prospect phase.
100%. Yeah.
And then as far as like those emails and stuff, it's pretty easy just to add us into an email that you're sending to to
Yep.
Crane, to keep us updated. So to forget that isn't really good. You know what I mean?
Sure. I mean, I will just mention TC. I mean, we are a staff of one, just expanded to two.
I
So
understand.
yes, working on that, absolutely.
Right.
But we do, we need to do a
Once
better
it's
job
in
of
there,
that.
mine starts popping up every time. I
What's
send
that?
it. Like once it's in there, mine starts popping up with suggested people to add because I've already added them in.
Yeah.
Right? So it should be pretty simple.
Duly noted. Yep. Duly
Great
noted.
stuff going up there.
Yeah,
I still
absolutely.
think back to 7 or 8 years ago when you were the EDC director, and
Yeah.
we're sitting around that boardroom wondering, we can rent out some hunting ground or
Timber it, right? Yeah.
timber it.
Yeah. No, it's unreal.
Lots have changed. Yeah.
Lots of good stuff. And just this past week, I don't know if you all saw, but there was the groundbreaking. It was a dual groundbreaking for both the Prometheus Energetics facility and the munitions campus. So about 4 miles north of Westgate. which is great because those are the kinds of projects we can't necessarily accommodate at Westgate or Crane due to the nature of what they are, right? And the amount of land that's required to support those types of projects. So it helps us be that much more competitive for new investments. So on my action list, and I appreciate that feedback, one, we will get you more detail on the jobs and basically the timeline in which those jobs are going to be coming online, or at least anticipated at this point. You all know that is highly dependent upon the market at the time. I actually am meeting with Kratos here this week, and they're driving a lot of this at this point, so that discussion will be very important with them. So we will get you that, and then more detail on the number of prospects. Obviously, we want to be very careful with how much of that we share in a public forum like this. So just from confidentiality standpoint, we can use the code names and everything, but that quickly gets confusing as well.
I don't think you have to talk to us about that. We got that.
Yeah. So, but I just want to mention, I mean, that is important, the confidentiality aspect, especially with you all as a public body that is subject to open door law, et cetera, right? So we will share what we can, and feel free to reach out to me anytime, but I will get you more information on that.
You think like March 10th, we'd be able to have an email with that stuff since you're meeting with Kratos?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
Perfect.
I will mark that down. Okay.
Thanks, Brian.
Anything else, folks?
No, I think that's good. Appreciate it.
Okay. All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Next, we got an updated MOU with Deaconess. Got Audrey Brown. Morning.
Good morning.
All right, so at the health department, we just needed to update our MOU with, used to be Memorial Hospital, now Deaconess Hospital. We go to what used to be called Memorial Country Health on Candleburg Road, March through October, twice a month to do a shot clinic, and so that's what this is about. You guys have it in front of you, I think, already?
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought Kathy sent it, and then she sent it to Grant too, right, to check?
Yeah, so I did talk with insurance about the last paragraph there on the front.
The liability, yeah.
Yeah, if you all don't mind, if you are planning to proceed with it, just let me make sure that we're good with some of the language. I don't mind proceeding at all, I just want to make sure that we're comfortable with it. They made a few changes to
Yeah.
what it had been.
Yeah, that's what I noticed, and so we wanted to make sure it was okay.
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the MOU with the health department, as long as Grant's
Pending legal review.
pending legal.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Gabhart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Andrew.
Next, we got School Resource Officer of the Year Award.
Yeah, I'll jump in here.
Yes,
I was
absolutely.
contacted, we have the school resource officers is something we put in place probably back in 16. I think it was Sheriff Harbstreit and I met with some superintendents to get this thing in place. There were some shootings and, in other areas. So a couple of things. One, we put this SRO program in place, but then the commissioners just kind of, that's all we did was put it in place. And I think they built it up. Officer Chris Myers was this SRO in Bar Reeve, and we were outreached. Someone is nominating him for a couple of awards, and they wanted to know if the county would send a letter of recommendation on each. I reached out to Deputy Chief Sturgis. They're doing the same for the Sheriff's Department, and I told him I'd put this on the agenda for both, but I would highly recommend the commissioners to sign on in supporting his nomination.
I'd make a motion to sign the nomination or the letter of recommendation for the nomination for Deputy Chris.
Motion by Commissioner Cook,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Gabhart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. And that was on both of them, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, Nick as well, right?
Yes.
That was the number 8 item too also.
Correct.
wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, next we got the Peter Boa appointment, Jordan Brigham. I think, I didn't get, sorry, that's all right. Any questions on that? You reached out to,
I did, and he confirmed that he would definitely would serve. I reached out to Crystal, I think Grant, and then Jeremy Tooley, who both are members, and they think that with his knowledge and expertise, and then he confirmed that he would be willing to serve.
yep.
I'd make a motion to appoint Jordan Brigham to the PETA BOA board.
Motion, or commotion?
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Motion by Commissioner Cook,
I'll second that commotion.
second by Commissioner Gabhart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next, we got the UMR cards for review and with approval. Was there just some changes, some language changes or something on that? Am I wrong, or what's,
Yeah, I didn't see any material things that came through. We didn't change any of the plan deductibles or
anything on it?
co-pays, but
Missy or anything?
yeah, I don't think there's any material changes in there. I think it
Okay.
just takes a
Doesn't look like it.
approval from us.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve the cards for review.
Yeah, so moved.
Moved by Commissioner Cook,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Gabhart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next up, we got the zoning, the solar zoning, excuse me, solar zoning ordinance. I think somebody come to you, Commissioner Gabhart.
Yeah, we'll make this as short and sweet if we can. So over the past, I've been involved with the solar ordinance drafting from the day one. The APC, BZA, Sarah Brackney. So as president of the board, I was kind of involved with that, and this goes back 3, 4, 5 years. We wanted to be very tight because we wanted to see how this thing planned out. So I only say that to say I've been there from the beginning in this. We implement it. We take do a little drive down through Pike County, and we're like, whoa, time out. We got to protect, and we got to protect existing landowners. So we did that. And then over the past couple years, over the past year, I've had 2 people reach out and they said, hey, your ordinance says that we can't build within 2,500 feet of a road. And I said, that's not true. It's existing residents. We want to protect the existing residents. Well, I never heard anything back. So perfect. And a few months ago, I had another person. And I'm like, no, it's not existing roads because we're on the half-mile grid system. You wouldn't be able to build anywhere. If you had to go in 2,500 from both, you'd have a 20-foot strip. I was like, it's from existing residences. So in my head, all along, it was existing residences. Yes, we got to protect existing residences. Driving through Pike County, those homes have to be protected. So this is just in Gabhart's head, and then in Gabhart's conversations with everyone that I interacted with, that's the terminology that I've used. So I had lunch last week with an attorney from Knox County, and he's like, hey, he goes, I think your ordinance isn't how you're saying it. I was like, no, it's 2,500 feet. This is like the 3rd time, you know. So then come to find out, our ordinance isn't 2,500 feet from residences. It's from basically property lines. So I was like, oh, that was never Gabhart's intent. And now as we peeled back these layers, nothing wrong happened. It went to BZA, APC. It was fully discussed in those meetings, and it was clearly changed to 2,500 feet from property lines. Nothing nefarious, nothing wrong happened. So then when we passed that ordinance, one, shame on me, I wouldn't even have read it to begin with because nothing materially changed because no one told me. anything materially change. So we passed the ordinance, and come to find out, it's 2,500 feet from property line. We reviewed the APC meeting. They clearly discussed that. So no one did anything wrong. It was just these communication gaps where me being involved from day one, and they knew, I was saying 2,500 feet from non-participating residents. If you live there and you want it wrapped around your house, put it around your house. That needs to be your choice. So then when I saw that, I thought, oh no, that wasn't, had I known that a year ago, I would have been at the APC meeting, I would have fought it, and would have said, no, that's way too strict, because if you want to kill solar fields in Davies County, let's just vote for that. And I don't know how I'd vote. I might vote. I'm not pro, I'm not against. So philosophically, it was just a point of misunderstanding, of, oh, I had no idea it was property line. I thought it was existing residents. So in my mind, well, we need to change it back to what I had intended with this working group. And it got changed, and you get a number of opinions and a lot of hallway conversations in play. So I just wanted to put it back on record that my intention and my suggestions were to protect existing non-participating residents, not property lines, because we effectively shut down solar fields in Davies County, which I'm okay with. So as long as, I hate to make one decision and it has an indirect impact, but just make that decision. So if we want to effectively kill solar fields in Davies County and we want it 2,500 feet from property lines, so be it. I just want to make sure that we knowingly, the commissioners, because we're the executive branch, that we knowingly want it that way, because that's not what I had intended.
And we need to be a little bit clear. It's property line, yes, but it's, if there's non-participating people, meaning they don't want that.
They're not signing an
around.
application.
So if
for
you
a project,
have
yeah.
those neighbors, again, 2,500 feet, and they're okay with it, and they want it, then you absolutely can still do it wherever you would like, right? So,
You can't, I don't need to see any of the paperwork. Nothing wrong happened in the process.
No, right.
Right.
We passed.
So I'm just trying to be more clear on that it's non-participating.
But if you can just let us have this discussion real quickly. If you're on one county road, okay, one county road over is a half a mile. Because we're on the half-mile grid system, it's like 1,000 east, 1050 east.
Some places a mile, but yeah, they're
Half of our roads are on the grid system. So a house one road over can tell you what to do, and they're not even your neighbor. So that's my point is these aren't like neighbors. These are folks that are not even on your same road. And if that's what we want, I'll completely go with it. But that just wasn't the intent.
And it started out with a mile, by the way, and so we got it brought
Well,
in the discussion.
Well, respectfully, during my discussions that I had with the key group of people, it was like 100 feet, then 500 feet, then 1,000 feet. Sean was a surveyor. I said, hey, go out in the field, measure out 1,000 feet. So I was like, hey, let's make it 1,000 feet. Then I got a call that says, hey, why don't you make it 2,500 feet? And I said, all right, we can always lessen it.
When it all started, it was 250.
So it was all.
Yeah, I mean, it was just.
So.
I'm just saying, since I was on the board, right, when they do that, it actually, that discussion started with a mile, and got it down to that 2,500 feet, and then it's non-participating, and so that means if they don't want it. Now, it doesn't mean that stops the whole project. Just means maybe you're not going to get one line of those solar panels out, right, depending on where it's at. And so you could still have those there if it's inside of that. If it's 2,499, then you put it there.
But you've got 4 sides to your property.
Sure.
So you're taking off half a mile all around your properties. And again, I'm not against that. But that just wasn't the intent of some of the folks that were on the inner workings of it. So I just wanted to bring it up. We can keep the ordinance as is if you choose, but that wasn't how I thought it was going to happen, or else I would have spoken up earlier. I'm on my way out, so I just want to make sure you're stuck with this ordinance. So now what happens is, well, here's what happens. Now you're presented with the ordinance. and and you're told you passed it exactly how it's written. Yeah, but so what? That wasn't what I meant. So we need to just be vulnerable enough to say, look, I didn't intend to pass that. So
I clearly understood it. I don't remember the talk about it, but of course, like you said, nobody did anything wrong, but I thought it was property lines.
Correct, and it was, yeah.
And-
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't, of course, you said it was kind of your core people, the one that was talking about, residents.
right. So
Which I've played both scenarios out, but I was like, well, no, if I'm gonna go, if you're gonna buy a piece of property in Davis County, you gotta plan ahead for it, because it's
Yeah.
quite expensive. So if I go buy this cornfield that I'm planning on, building a house on, well, then that solar could come in on it and then
Right.
absolutely,
Sure.
maybe cut the value of it. Don't know, that's.
And so I'm totally fine with that. I just wanted you guys to have that knowledge that was in my head in case people come up to you and they say, well, Commissioner Gabhart said it was supposed to be this. I just want to kind of download my thoughts into your guys' heads so that now going forward, you can say, yes, we understand what he thought, but this is how we really wanted it, just so you guys aren't painted into a corner.
And if there's, a group, core people that's really wants it changed back, they need to get together
Yeah, right.
and,
Right.
get together and come to us.
Right.
Yeah.
Then that'll make, that'll let me want to listen some more.
We can always lessen it, but it's harder to tighten it, was the philosophy from years ago, because we just weren't sure of the sustainability of these things. And I don't want a 5,000 acre solar field that gets abandoned in 10 years, and now you got 40,000 T-posts or I-beams out there and you've totally destroyed that land. So I want it to be as strict as possible. So if you guys are comfortable with the 2,500 feet by property lines, we'll just leave it as is. But now we at least knowingly know
Yeah,
where we're
and
at.
right where
Yeah.
it's supposed to.
Grant, I'm pretty sure in there, because that same thought was at the APC as well, which was what happens if something goes bankrupt, what happens if something happens? We have a
Decommissioning.
bond in there that they
We-
have to put money in there.
We do,
for
but
that
we have
stuff.
no idea, and again, I've just been probably involved in
Yeah.
this too much. We have no idea in 10 or 20 years what, like, we bond the coal mines.
That's fair, yeah.
So it's a $7 million expense, so we have a $100,000 bond.
And
but
we just gotta try to do what we
Just be
can with what
careful.
we have, right?
Yeah, be cautious, so
we
no
don't need to-
worries.
We don't need to do anything if we're not gonna change anything.
If we don't need to change it, we'll just go on record, it's just so people can have more clarity of why we are here
Right.
today, so, yeah. All right, thank you.
I don't think that was the last thing. Anything from the audience? Nope. All right, I entertain a motion to pay payroll and claims.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Cook.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gabhart. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, everybody.